Well, it's been almost a year since I came up here and we talked about all the things that you had been doing to serve the Lord. And now it's time to take a look at 2015. You have served the Lord well. And I can prove it. I have pictures. Isn't it a good thing that we can capture these things so we can remember them? First, we started off with the Super Bowl. S-O-U-P. It's spelled that way because what we do for Super Bowl is you are so generous that you give money that we send to Meals on Wheels. And in addition, some of you go out and deliver those meals. And to me, it's more important the human contact that you make with the shut-ins actually than the food that you bring to them. So you do a great job. From there, we went to Zoe Project because Pat Brown, it got put in her heart that she wanted to go to Africa and visit, and she did, and we sponsored her. And there she is with the person there in the cornfield, I believe. And part of that came out of that was, you remember the little blue bracelets that says, God is bigger and pray? Well, Pat took those to Africa with her to gift the people there. But you all caught fire from it, and I think we've ordered 3 times now because you keep taking them out and giving them to people as you witness to them and talk to them about Jesus. So that is a wonderful thing. Amen. The next we have is Easter at the Church of the Wildwood. It was a great time to celebrate the risen Christ, and when we finished there, we came here and celebrated, and those are the buckets because all the children had an Easter egg hunt during Sunday school. Great worship time, great time to show the love of Jesus Christ. Then we had our senior supper. It was a pretty good size class that came this year. You can see them right there. We have a great time with those kids every year. And in addition to feeding them, they get door prizes, which they love. And we gave them all a Bible and a bracelet that we had. And they loved it, and we loved doing it as well. This year, for the first time, we went to the courthouse for the National Day of Prayer. We had several of our choir members who had joined the county choir that went to Austin, but they gathered at the courthouse this day for National Day of Prayer for praying and for worshiping the Lord. That was a great thing indeed. Then we have the Relay for Life. This church is great at supporting Relay because so many of us have been through cancer, either ourselves or with our family. So that's a picture of Miss Betty. Miss Betty, we know, is a survivor of cancer, and we love doing the Relay for Life, and y'all do a great job for that. For the first time this year, we did UM Army. UM Army is a gathering of high school kids that goes into a town to work on houses, but more importantly, to talk about Jesus to the people in the community. That was sleeping quarters. They were kind of crammed in here, and they had a great time. There's their trucks that brought all their stuff in. And this is on the Thursday, they bring the community in, the ones that they've worked for their houses, and they have a meal with them, and then we have a worship service with them. And the last slide, I really like this one because it says, someone here heard that open up your building because Jesus has work to do here. And someone said, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, y'all said, yeah, we can do that. And we had a great time with those kids. And I also want you to know that the 24 adults that were with them, all received prayer shawls from your prayer shawl ministry. It was great. Then we have our VBS. VBS is fun. We had about 50 kids this year. We had lots of teachers. Now, let me tell you, VBS is coming again. We want you to come out and work again and make cookies or whatever you can do. There is a place for all of you. And we had kids from little bitties all the way up to the big kids that came and participated. There's some of our great crafts that we did. It was a lot of fun. We have the picture of the firemen up because this church loves the firemen. We appreciate all that they do. And it's so hot in the summertime that we went and gathered up 20 cases of water and took it down and donated to them. It's hard to see in the back of the truck, but that's 20 cases of water that went down to the fire department. And we appreciate y'all doing that for them. This year we built in the backyard, a volleyball pit for the kids and a gaga pit. And we did that as evangelistic tool Can you believe that? Every time you drive by here, you see kids outside playing. Stop and talk to some of those kids. What a great way to have an introduction to talk to them about Jesus. And we use those two new things when we had our first youth rally here. Youth rally was wonderful. You guys baked cookies, you came and served hot dogs, you came and prayed with them. It was a fantastic time. Our kids participated, our kids brought their friends. It was a wonderful thing to do. Then we have our teachers. We love our teachers. At the beginning of the year, we take donuts and fruit up to the school, and we pray for the teachers, and we leave them a little treat. From the teacher appreciation, you went to the block party. Block party is always a wonderful thing to do, but this year we did it a little bit differently. Here's all the supplies you brought in. Beverly, let's go. Do you see that load of shoes that we brought in? This is what made it so special this year. We invited all of our guests inside. We came into the big fellowship hall, and the praise band sang, and they all stood and sang and worshiped, and we introduced for the first time our puppet ministry to the community. Jackie and the kids do a great job of doing the puppets. We love the block party. We got, if I can say this, Alan may get me for saying it, but we were able to get more Jesus into them this year. It wasn't just a handout. It was bringing Jesus into their life. And after all, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? So that's what we were doing. After the block party, we got to celebrate the pastor's breakfast. When Alan came here a year ago, he started collecting the pastors up because pastors need to work together as well. And so a year ago was the first breakfast for the pastors, and then we celebrated the anniversary here with the pastors. There were 13 pastors, including Alan, and the 12 guest pastors all got prayer shawls from your prayer shawl ministry. And I've got to share this with you because sometimes, men, sorry guys, don't want you to know how touched they are about things or that they can be brought to tears. One of the pastors came in the kitchen and said, I have no words to tell you how important that prayer shawl is to me. And he said, and if I try to find the words, I'll cry. Well, folks, I almost cried right then. So it's a great thing to have our pastors here. It's a great thing for us to love on and pray for the pastors. Then every year before school starts, you gather at the school for the prayer walk at the school. You lay hands on all the buildings and you pray for everything that's going to be going on, for the teachers, administrators, and the children, for them to have a great, wonderful year. Next one. This is our good luck to our football. I told you last year that we had adopted the junior high. Well, they're still ours. And we are still taking food and water and Gatorade before they're out of town football games. But the most important part about that is the fact that we get to pray with the boys. That is so important. This year, for the first time, Cheatham hosted the Grace Community Walk to Emmaus gathering. There are several of us that's been to the walk, but we had never been to a gathering except for Alan and Teresa. So it was wonderful for us to get to celebrate our fourth day right here at Cheatham. And I want you to know, guys, when people come into this church, they feel the warmth and the love and the Spirit of Jesus Christ here. That's what y'all have done, and that's so important. Back during Christmas time, we collected money to buy diapers, and this year we gave it to the ABC room. I've got to say something about that for just a minute. Y'all bought 20 cases of diapers, 100 some odd diapers to a case. We were able to stack all 20 on one cart at Walmart and got down the aisle without dropping them. Tell me the Holy Spirit wasn't in there holding those things up. You bet it was. See you at the poll. The theme this year was United. We had 75 there. We had donuts and we had something to drink. But I got to tell you, the most important thing about that is seeing those kids come around the poll and not afraid to stand and pray for Jesus, and not afraid. Our kids, our youth, are not afraid to stand in front of their peers and say how much they love Jesus and that they believe in him with all their hearts. They do the entire program. We're just there to hand out donuts. This is truly a kid thing. And I thought this picture with the sun coming up, because we meet very early with the kids around the pole, I thought that was beautiful. Methodist men, unsung heroes, I think, in our church, because they do so many wonderful things, but this particular thing is where they go out and build the ramps. And there is one. They take such pride in doing that. And here again, I know that it's important that these people have a way to get in and out of their house, but I can only imagine the smile that's on their faces when these guys sit down and talk. Now, y'all know Michael can talk. You know he is visiting with those people. And they take prayer shawls and give them to each one of the people that they build a ramp. So that brings us to the crow knitters. You know, there's not such a word, but we made it up. There's Lou Ann. She's holding the prayer shawl that she made for Joe and Clint Moore's wedding, Joe being Louis Wolcott's daughter. And there's a picture of the crow knitters there. They do a great job. We no longer give away just one every once in a while. We give them away a couple dozen at a time. So they're really busy, and they appreciate the fact that you support them. This may be the last time you see the VCI on the wall, because we're really not talking VCI anymore. We've been in the VCI now for almost 2 years now, and it was no surprise when they came and gave us our prescriptions that there wasn't a whole lot that we needed to change, because the minute you all started reading those books, you started talking to everybody else, and we started making the changes that we needed to make, because you are a good church. You are good at serving Jesus. I think I've just proven that with these pictures. Now, there's a couple things that we don't have pictures of that you do. Like, we know that we have a group of you that goes to school and read to the kids. But there are other things that we're never going to have pictures of. Every time you go and visit somebody at the nursing home, every time you go visit someone in the hospital, every time you sit down and make out a card to someone, you are serving Jesus. You know, there's a saying at Christmas time that says Jesus is the reason for the season. No, let's change this. Jesus is the reason that we do what we do. Jesus loved us so much that he got on that cross for us. And now we love him so much that we go out and we share his love with the world. You've done a great job. We're not finished. This year is not even over. And oh my goodness, I have no idea what next year is going to be bringing for us. And if you think that this is evangelism and outreach team, you're right, because all of you are evangelism and outreach for this church, just like it's meant to be. Thank y'all so much. Now, if we'll have the kids come forward.